Uganda's parliament passed one of the world's strictest anti-LGBTQ bills on Tuesday.
The bill passed.
The new bill retained most of the harshest measures adopted in March, including long jail terms and the death penalty, which were condemned by the United States, the European Union, the United Nations and major corporations. Cases of so-called aggravated homosexuality, a term that the government uses to describe actions including having gay sex when HIV positive, will now risk death penalty. The new bill also allows a 20-year sentence for promoting homosexuality. Activists say it could criminalize any advocacy for the rights of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender and queer citizens. President Yoweri Museveni, a vocal opponent of LGBTQ rights, has signaled he intends to sign the legislation once certain changes are made. It was not immediately clear if the new bill satisfied his requests, and his office was not available for comment. Same-sex relations are already illegal in Uganda, and members of the LGBTQ community routinely face arrest and harassment by law enforcement. Western governments suspended aid, imposed visa restrictions and curtailed security cooperation in response to another anti-LGBTQ law Museveni signed in 2014. That law was nullified within months by a domestic court on procedural grounds. Now, the US government said it was assessing the implications of the looming law for activities in Uganda under its flagship HIV/AIDS program.
Email exchanges from inside the BBC, they talk about the risk of violating Indian laws. It's easier to rake up the freedom of speech debate, but does it give anyone a free pass to knowingly violate the law? America supports India because it needs India's support in return, and India is working with the US because it suits India's interests. This is how geopolitics works. Last night he diffused a crisis with his defense minister. But today Netanyahu was confronted with a new problem. His cabinet seems to have rebelled against him. The UK is looking at the Indian subcontinent to fill its coffers. That India seems to be negotiating from a position of power, like a partner and not a former colony. The US and Russia are dangerously close to an armed conflict. This year, 2023, New Delhi will be the capital of global diplomacy. For a country as diverse as ours, with 88% of the population illiterate, it was a very big deal to write a constitution, and that too, the world's largest. Meanwhile, if we may, here's a Republic Day gift from India for the BBC. A list of suggestions for the BBC for their upcoming documentaries. Number 1, the Kohinoor and the colonial loot. Number 2, an outdated monarchy and unhealthy obsession with the royals. Number 3, racism in 2023. We're waiting.